So, here we are at ArcTangent, and I have the pleasure of Tom and Andy. Andy from Dinner Celestial Birds. Okay, first of all, thanks very much, guys, for agreeing to do this interview.
Much appreciated.
Okay, we'll start with, how was yesterday?
Surreal.
It was mad. Still can't really believe it.
So we'd finished all the sound checking, etc., and you come off stage, you gather your thoughts before you start.
Yeah.
And so we'd had maybe the 5-minute warning off Alan, I believe the guy's name was, who was backstage with the guy.
Right.
And I had a quick point of poke out, and I saw there was two of our friends and one person who'd been loitering for a bit.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is probably what it's going to be. It's early. We're not, we're still quite new. You see what I mean? So, and short hands on the other stage, brilliant band. So, you're up against that kind of thing. You know what I mean? You're up against a band who've got a lot of pull and an incredible band. So you think, if this one is what it is, it's just an honour to play.
Yeah.
And then Vince, the drummer, came and he was just just really flatly, he was like, "Have you seen how many people there are?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know it's not a lot." And he was like, "Oh no, it's quite busy." And I poked my head back out again, and it was overflowing around the edge of the tent. So that was a moment. Yeah.
So what was it like playing? I mean, from my point of view, obviously being a punter, it looked like you were having the time of your life. So how was it for you guys?
It was incredible. Normally when we're playing, these tiny stages, and we're trying not to hit each other in the face. And I was just so much room. I was running around everywhere, jumping up and down.
We have at points sort of hit each other in the face with guitar heads. Matt has nearly impaled his synth several times and with things. So it's we played a show actually a really good show in Nottingham. Chameleon, I think it was, wasn't it? And we were practically stood on top of each other. It was so tight. but no, I mean, it was so good to have, and also because that's the loudest PA we've played through,
right?
Because it's outdoors.
Yeah.
So you could hear it coming back, if you know what I mean. So normally you don't hear what gets to go on outside, but you could hear the oomph of the kick drum and stuff like that, which was great. And like you said, you stood on the speaker and you could feel the speaker vibrating.
Just vibrating. Oh my god!
Wow, that sounds incredible. Obviously, being at ArcTangent, it's who else are you excited to see over the weekend?
So for me, yesterday, the big one was Caden. Stephen Brodsky and Adam McGrath are the reason I play guitar the way I do. Prior to that, I was just playing punk riffs and stuff like that. I heard Jupiter, which would be maybe 23 years ago now, and my whole life changed.
Right.
And then I was like, I must have reverb, I must have delay, I need to know what tuning they're in, all the great stuff that comes with it. Today has all been about Spurf, who were just incredible. And Kirsty's Metal Hands was like watching the people that you knew at school suddenly be on TV or something, weren't it?
I was jotting some notes down actually for the reviews. I wrote down that it was like a hug from a long lost friend, Kirsty's Metal Hands, and I think it was,
and an absolutely massive crowd for a band who were on that early in the day as well, which is great. I really enjoyed hitting Mothers this morning.
I thought they were great as well, really good.
There was some real, I don't really call it because it wasn't a sad atmosphere, but there was this melancholy around the room, which was so beautiful.
Yeah, there was a definite energy in that room, and when he climbed into the crowd, you could see people were just really feeding off it, and I thought that it was really good.
It's because normally if you say something like melancholy or something like that, you think it's negative, but it wasn't. It was like watching one of those really beautiful sort of films, those Bellatar style art house films that is going to make you cry, but it's magnificent.
Yes,
It had that air about it. I'm definitely going to watch Cops absolutely arrive tomorrow because I can see that happening.
Right.
That's going to be their moment, I think. Who else is on tomorrow?
Let's have a look.
I mean, I thought last year's lineup was good.
Gold tomorrow.
This year was just off the charts, brilliant lineup.
Yeah, there's a crazy amount of good stuff tomorrow. Also, Steve's band, Grubnap. Steve used to be in this band called Grove back in Leeds, and he is such an intense drummer, and he has to steady himself on his drums because he hits them so hard. And to see the way he drums, you'd think he'd be an absolute maniac, and he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's so chilled. But yeah, he puts so much energy into his drum. Drum knacker, fantastic. There's only 2 of them, and they sound like there should be 8 of them. It's insane. He's also got I think the thickest sounding snare drum I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
So, if you could, following on from that, if you could curate a one-day festival, who would play?
How many slots are there?
Let's say 6.
We should get all bird-related bands and call it a nestival. A nestival, yeah. Sorry, that was bad. So absolutely, without fail, Mono would have to be there. PG Lost would probably have to be there.
The big question is, would you put ours on?
Yeah, we'd open it. It'd all be bands that are worth way more than us. To that moment when you sort of like, can I have dead people?
Yeah, why not?
Bowie.
Right.
Yeah. But Bowie, yeah, if I could have dead people, it would have to be Bowie. If it's not dead people, Annie Lennox.
Oh, right.
Annie Lennox was my intro to music, thanks to my dad.
Right.
I still love Annie Lennox. If I ever have a pet, I'm going to call it Lennox after Annie Lennox. So,
you get 2 pairs.
then the other one will probably just be named after the other dude from the originals. It's probably Dave. Sigur Rós. We would go with Sigur Rós. Sigur Rós and Mono would be the headliners.
So I'll get someone like Clown Creatures.
Yeah.
So, just because I want to see them. I don't think I ever play. I did like 1 gig about 5 or 10 years ago, and that was about it.
Okay, pivoting away from that, how are you finding the reaction to the album? It's just
insane.
Yeah, it's been nuts.
Insane.
I mean, the reviews have been amazing.
yeah.
I mean, we sold all our special edition CDs. We've not got many vinyls left. So, yeah.
And 1,000 Arms put out a limited vinyl in America, which has got the same kind of design as the limited CD we did.
Right.
And they sold them out within 3 hours. We didn't even know anyone in America knew we existed.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. A bit taken aback.
Yeah. So when we travel to places, me and Tom tend to travel together.
Right.
Because we're scattered about a bit, so Tom tends to be. We tend to be band buddies, and we have a lot of conversations about these things, and we were like sort of goals and aspirations for the album was. Tom was happy just if anyone heard it and for it to be out. I said I'd be happy if it hit 1 person in the field. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
That Friday that it came out. It's a wasp and I'm allergic to wasp stings.
Might be after that actually, put it down there.
Yeah. My team leader ended up telling me again to put my phone in a different room. It was just vibrating all day long with things that were happening. Which was, and just in a way, like, because it's such a weird thing to like, when good things happen, you'd think it would sort of like boost the ego or something like that. I just find it so, it just makes me feel human.
Right.
And I said, we'd had the conversation as well once before, and like, both of us have done music for years and years. This is the third band we've been in together. I've been making music since I was in my mid-teens, so we're talking nearly 30 years. And I've done things, we've done things, you've played with some great bands, but it's always been a case of just being like, you were the support band for somebody who had a big crowd, so you were there and you got a crowd. And this is the first time, I think, ever in my life as being a musician, where it felt like I feel like I've been part of something, like I've been accepted.
Right.
Because people have turned up for us rather than because there's something else happening and you're there.
Yes.
And that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, you know how I feel about the album. I think it's a stunning achievement. We should definitely go listen to it. Go and buy it.
we had a moment as well because we were playing Emmet yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, wasn't it? This weekend's been crazy. And there's the bit where the sample comes in, and just have a look out to see how people are. And all I could see, I can't see very far, I'll be honest with you, my eyesight is appalling. But all I could see was just smiling faces, which then made me smile. And I don't know, I let go of something in me at that moment. Some of my negativity went.
Oh, that's.
I hope permanently, but it was nice because I felt so much weight come off my shoulders to see smiley faces. But one of the other things that myself and Matt had talked about, at least, is how many people say the album's really, really positive, because a lot of that was not written in a positive time frame. So the fact that it gives other people positivity feels like an achievement in itself.
I find the album absolutely joyous. I mean, I find that, I mean, this is just a personal thing, it's very much, people put their own take on it. They put on, like, take the pictures. I mean, I think you've created such an amazing canvas that people will draw their own pictures on it. Well, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I just find it incredible. And at one point on the last song, I mean, I actually got quite emotional, and it doesn't happen to me at all in music. And
So I personally never got through playing I Love You But It's Killing Me live without crying in the last bit. So it seems to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. I mean, can't praise it enough. Absolutely. Right, if you could change it again, if you could collaborate with anyone.
Joe Quayle. Yeah, Joe Quayle, Emma Ruth Rundle. I think that would be a good thing. The lady, because I don't know names, the lady who sings for Gold, because her voice is so pristine. Yeah, that would be good. Maybe somebody electronic. Yeah.
See, you're right. Different genres sometimes mesh really well together. I mean, like Kelsey's now. Perfect example. Yeah, it takes the best bits of both bands.
Like Perturbator or like something like that. Yeah.
I think we could do like a Judy Christmas or Lily type thing.
Yeah.
We get another singer from someone else because we obviously don't have a singer. We do an album with a singer. That would be really cool. Right?
Yeah, so like that'd be a good thing. Emma Ruth Rundle doing something like that.
That sounds brilliant.
Or like just we've joked about this a few times because of the family vibe that we have with Hidden Mothers, but like sort of doing like a dinner of Hidden Mothers collaborative thing where there's 10 people on stage. Steph will be in the crowd. But,
I would pay to see that. That would be fantastic.
I would pay for that to happen, I think. So,
right, time to realise my dream of being a promoter and actually make that happen. Okay, what next for the band? Aspirations?
We're trying to get through this weekend.
I mean, the whole album launch and playing this has been the main focus for the past few months. So I think we're trying to sort out some tours.
It's also one of these difficult things to have like sort of goals and aspirations when it comes to these things, because we've ticked so many bucket list things already that I didn't think would ever happen. And it's because because we consider them friends as well. So we played with Home and Arrow's Bridge Disaster, who were a massive influence on me, an incredible band and great people. So that was like, when that got to so that we're not going to achieve anything more than that. And then we did the gig with Dystopian Future Movies, who hit me everywhere. You know what I mean? They're so perfect as a band, and again such fantastic people. So we're like, you're not going to get any better than that. And then you get asked to do this, and you're like, oh shit! You know, I think that because we did the thing in London, and I thought that's probably going to be as big as it gets. And
I mean that thing in London. I went with a friend of mine. He didn't know your stuff before he played, and he actually said that you were the best in the game. He said he was blown away. And today here as well, the festival messaging for mine. Yesterday, the person I was with, he didn't know it. And the first thing he said to me after your set was, well, that set the bar so ridiculously high. And I agree. I mean, it was just the perfect way to start.
I mean, like, to be fair, we owe an awful lot of everything to people who aren't even in the band and stuff like that. Chris from A Cheery Wave Records, who has put in more work than any normal person should do to get, and he's got so many good ideas for what he wants us to do next, which is great, and I can't even compute them. So that's where like Tom comes. Chris French from PR Trail, who's got it to all the right people, because none of those people would be listening to it if it weren't for those two people being involved with everything. Joe for making it sound like it does, and Tom Dring for mastering it in a way that makes it sound like you do live. That gave it that balls. But more than anything, Gavin Paul from Damnation. Because I've joked about it before, we would still be playing to 2 or 3 people on a Tuesday night in Stoke or something. Had it not been for both of those. And it was when the Damnation lineup was going to happen, and they were having American bands and stuff pulling out because of potential COVID restrictions. So they asked on the forum for any like British bands, and it just so happens that my friend Kirsten, who is a pain in the backside, but I love her to pieces, basically riled people into sort of saying us. So Gav went and listened on the fly because of that, and the rest is history. But Gav on his podcast told James to book us. James booked us. That's nuts. When we got the email saying we could play, I had to stop work for the rest of the day because I genuinely thought he was taking the piss out of it.
I was in the office. I was walking around. And I just had to go over. I was just like,
So I guess next up, Damnation.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Gav, if you're watching this,
welcome.
Your night, your Salvation night, next year in 2024 is on my birthday. Do it.
You've got no excuses, Gav.
Album set. I love Gav.
Me too. I think he's a brilliant guy. So. Right, okay. Well, I'm out of questions. Anything else you want to add?
So I don't know what month yet. We recorded recently a live set in I say a TV studio, sort of like a makeshift warehouse with lots of lights and things and screens and stuff, and that will be out at some point later this year. I don't think physically, but at least downloading the video of it.
Okay.
The vinyl versions of the album are due to arrive late September, potentially. They're done by Dunk, who are great. We've written an awful lot of album 2 already, so
a lot of this album has been written since 2019.
Yeah, so
we did with COVID.
We ended up in a position now where we're almost sort of we're working a backlog.
Right.
I would say a lot of this album was written. June Bug was written the day after EP1 was released, so that was in early doors. I think launch was not too long after, a couple of months maybe.
Downpour I wrote after I got back in 2019.
Yeah, so Downpour is
about ArcTangent.
It's about during Russian Circles. I stood outside the tent, the main stage tent. Just nuts everywhere. There was a guy, which I have noticed, there was a guy who had some Converse on in the night, and he was trying to just wrap his shoes in book bags, and then put them in book bags, take them around, and then he literally just slipped over. He was just like with it.
Oh yeah?
I remember sitting by the side of the main stage with my wife at the time. Sorry,
we're gonna edit that one out.
Sorry, Michelle. Sitting in the stage with my wife, and I remember looking around, and there was it looked like a river of mud just flowing into the main stage. And I've never seen that mud the next day was unlike anything I've ever seen.
It was basically just brown mud.
It was like a quagmire the entire time.
We had debated, but it probably won't happen doing a few shows where we do both Wilderness and Mirrors and Inner Celestial Birds, but that probably won't happen anytime soon because we are way too busy to be learning a backlog of a different side of things. But if we end up with some like elongated dead time. That might happen maybe as a one-off, but it was talked about briefly, and then because we didn't think things would get this busy, did we? That was the thing. It was just sort of a way to gap fill and that, but. Yeah, things are probably too busy for that. You know, like you've kind of got to ride that wave, haven't you? So the main thing now is getting out and doing as many shows as we can logically to promote the album.
I was actually going to say that is there a show in
we're hoping October. We've got one on the 30th of September in Manchester with AOTY So and Civil Service. I don't know who the other bands are on that bill. I haven't seen the poster, so I'm not involved in any social media aspects of things. Sometime early next year, we're hopefully trying to open. We're hoping to be back in London in January.
I'll keep my eyes out.
Yeah, to be confirmed, but at the minute that looks like that probably will happen. Thanks, Tiff. By the way, Tiff, you're amazing for everything. We should book Uncle Stuart to book us at Strange Forms. So Uncle Stuart, if you watch this, book us for Strange Forms, please. We'll be nice and we'll bring you vegan donuts.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Well, I think I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and all the best for the future.
Thank you kindly. And to anyone who watched it, thank you. Sorry that we're such awkward nerds.
They're not. They're lovely people. Thanks, everyone.